Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Transformers Toys, the show where I, David, and my co host Andy sit around for 20 minutes to talk about toys. Andy, on this episode, we thought we would do one of our traditional off the shelf. That means there's no specific reason that we picked it other than to chat about it. I've got something relatively recent here. I don't know what you've got lined up, but I am going to go first with this. I don't know where to start with this one because I wasn't originally going to buy it. I didn't feel the need for it. And also, I didn't like the look of it. So it had a lot going against it. But ultimately, I bit. Oh, and also, I should point out as well that I wasn't necessarily a fan of the figure that this is a heavy remold of. So it had everything going against it. I bought it and I kind of love it. I want to talk about the recently released Quake.
Ooh, interesting. Right, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. So again, this was a heavy remold of Skullgrin. I want to say there he is.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the one.
yeah. Which again, I wasn't like a massive fan of. I am loathed at the fact that his two target masters, which is what is it? Tip Top and
Heater, the other one?
who is it?
Is it Heater?
Heater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tip Top and Heater. Yeah. I I'm disappointed in the fact that we've gotten to the point now where the target masters have basically regressed back to the way they were in Generation 1,
Yeah.
especially given the fact that 20 years ago we were getting Universe Cyclonus with a target master that is still to this day perhaps the best target master we've ever had in that nightstick,
Correct.
which had multiple points of articulation. And also, when I looked at him, he just didn't look like Quake.
Colors are
You
off.
know, like colors were off, even though he is sculpted to be very reminiscent, especially in his chest, of Quake, because he lacks the stickers, and the stickers really did an awful lot of the heavy lifting in the original Generation 1 Quake toy.
Definitely.
Uh, I thought, well, his chest doesn't look right, his colors are off, I don't like the target masters, but having him in hand, I love the head sculpt. I think the head is great. I really, really love the head. I don't mind the colors in person. I think the transformation is finicky and he literally transforms into a box, but that's kind of a tank anyway. But I like the paint apps on the Target Master, and I just like the way he looks in robot mode, tooled up. It's a very weird toy. I don't really have a great deal more to say about him, other than the fact that I'm glad I've got him, because if I had not picked him up and if he'd sort of disappeared from the market, and I'd managed to mess around with him in hand at somebody's house or at a convention, I probably would have been kicking myself. What's your opinion on him? Because I'm very undecided about this guy. Everything in my head is telling me that I don't like this figure, but I don't hate him either.
Yeah, you know what? That's weirdly how I feel about him as well. Because when it came out, I was so excited for it. I have G1 Quake. Loved the Decepticon Double Target Masters back in the day, so it was, to me, kind of a must buy. I know that the Titans Return version it's still a good mold and it's a good version of Quake, but it's not Quake. To me, it's hard head and obviously just the different head on it, and obviously they changed the colours. And having had the hard head toy first, it kind of, I don't want to say it took away from it because I still love that toy, but it wasn't entirely Quake to me. So this version of the toy was really welcome. I was slightly concerned, as you say, when they announced that it was based off the Skullgrin mold because that's a mold that's got its own issues. I do think the tank mode, like you say, it's a slightly fiddly transformation that can be a little bit annoying. The tank mode isn't the
Mm.
best, but the robot mode, it is for me what sells it. It wasn't obviously. This is not.
Yeah.
I did not choose this toy myself personally for this, but yeah, it's the colors shouldn't kind of work because you think of the original colors of the toy and you think, well, it's quite different. It's brighter, really, in a lot of ways, but it just works and it looks
Mm.
good on your shelf. And like you say, the head sculpt is absolutely top notch. It's banging, um,
Yeah.
and I just really like it in robot mode. And that would be my caveat to it. In robot mode, I'm very happy with it, and he stands
Mm.
alongside Spinister and Needle Nose proudly. Tank
Mm.
mode is not one I will be utilizing very often. But
No.
like you say, imagine if you hadn't picked it up, and imagine if then down the line, as happens, they're not easy to pick up anymore, and you suddenly decide, oh, actually, I could really do with getting one of these. I just think
Mm.
in this day and age, we're getting a Quake on the shelves
Yeah.
available in mass retail. It's something to be celebrated because they are my era, the Masters era of Transformers. Target Masters, Headmasters, Power
Mm.
Masters. Definitely my era. So the more of those toys that we get new versions of that are available at mass retail, the happier a man like me is.
Do you know what I would love to have seen on this guy? And I appreciate the fact that this would have been a brand new mold and all of that stuff. And, at the end of the day, we have to accept the fact that Hasbro is a business. It has to make money. Therefore, not everything can be a brand new mold, and certainly not somebody like Quake. But whenever I think of Quake, I think of the way the original Generation 1's legs like formed up over him
Yeah,
to form the basis of the tank mode. And that to me is quintessential Quake. If I had my druthers, if this guy did that, it would be Quake for me. And yet this is, because as you say, we had the Hardhead one. That is literally a straight repaint of Hardhead. I don't remember if the Titan Master head was different at all, but
I think it
ultimately
was
it was.
just a mild bit of remolding
I
on the
think it
head.
might have been, yeah, because, well, actually, hold on a minute. Yeah, because didn't Hardhead, he came with the Japanese head, didn't he? Because he came with the faceplate.
The faceplate was
Quake
the mass release, which is based off the G1
Japanese.
Western toy. So that's the one that we had back in the day because I have that figure myself. And then the Japanese is the
Yes.
non-faceplate version that we saw in the Headmasters cartoon and the Legends version
Rebirth.
of that toy. Yeah, and the Rebirth. Yeah, where he had
Yeah.
a faceplate. Didn't have the faceplate
All I
rather.
remember was is that I had to buy Hardhead twice because I needed the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well,
hard to
no,
keep
that
it straight, but
very good toy.
great toy. Love it. Love it. Though, could I be tempted by them double dipping on a brand new set of Headmaster figures at
Oh
this
yeah.
point? Yeah, I think
Oh
I
yeah.
could be ready for that. I think. Um, so yeah, like Quake is a great robot mode. I love how sleek he is. I really do. There's no kibble on this guy. Very very sleek. I was just thinking there while we were talking. For me, what this figure sort of represents is, if Quake were going to be in a TV show, he would be right there and he would be dead in the first 5 minutes. And he wouldn't
Definitely.
have any lines. He has no speaking role. He just gets shot, but at least he makes it. Like
Yeah.
that's Quake. So yeah. So there we go. A very interesting one. Like I say, it's a toy that I am very conflicted over, but I am very happy with, because when I just look at him in robot mode, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
That's a
I
good
like
choice,
it.
I think.
So what have you picked from the shelf this week?
Well, we must be synced somehow because I also as it turns out, have gone for a figure based off a toy from the same era, roughly, as Quake,
Oh,
and also a Target Master. So I've actually gone for the Takara Legends Misfire. Um, I will be honest. I love this toy completely. I love the original one. I had the original Miss, and still have my original Misfire G1 toy, battered as it may be at this age, but I still have it. So when they did the Titans Return version, when I had the word that Takara were doing a version that was going to be slightly different, more toyetic, some would say, I had to get him, and he is. This is my favorite version. Comes with aimless. Just looks like the modern version of that character, and it's a fantastic mold. I know that there's some people who still are sometimes have a complaint about the fact that we saw in that period of kind of Combiner Wars and Titans Return, Power of the Primes. We saw a lot of versions of the same molds, just remolded slightly so that you can make the different character. But when it's a really good mold, I don't mind that. And this is obviously based off that Trigger Happy mold, which again, fantastic figure, one of the all timers, really. But I have a massive connection with Misfire anyway. There's the childhood thing, and then there's his appearances in IDW's comics, which were just some of the highlights for me of those fantastic stories that we got from IDW. Yes, it's the Takara version, and I'm not normally, I get Takara because I'm a exclusive collector of the Japanese. No, it literally was just because it looked more to me like the original toy did in terms of the paintwork and the look. Came with aimless. It was a no-brainer to me. I'm going to grab these, and these have actually turned out to be quite rare and quite difficult to pick up now. You can still get them, and I think if you go to the conventions, you will find people who will be selling them.
yeah, you're looking at 3 figures, and I know that because
Oh,
that's how much mine cost.
oh dear! I may have touched a
Yeah,
nerve.
whether it be a house move, whether it be something, I lost my Misfire,
Oh no!
my Hasbro one. I was like, I need to buy another one because I need Misfire. And wandering around TFN, and it was Nick from In Demand had one boxed, brand new, £100. And I was like, that's it. I want that because it comes with the Target Master, and the Target Master is great.
Yeah.
There is a part of me that I have to fight on a regular basis to not go and buy all of them just for the Target Masters.
Yeah,
But
that
that toy, the color on it, the the fact that it is an incredible figure, it's it's a joy, absolute joy.
definitely. I agree. I think that is the temptation with the Takara versions to pick them all up. I haven't, uh, partly because again the cost of them kind of like secondary market now is not cheap, but also because I'm still pretty happy with the Hasbro versions of Trigger Happy and Slugslinger that I've got. I think the Japanese head has a slightly different face for Slugslinger as well, which I just remember looking at pictures and thinking, no, I'm good with the one I've got for now. But Misfire was a
Mm,
must buy, and yeah, I mean, how often are we going to get a bright pink Decepticon? It's you've got to love the
yeah,
guy, and his entire character. He's just an absolute massive failure. If anything, a danger to himself and others. And I just love him. I just love him. Brilliantly, as I say, written in the IDW comics as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's what I've picked.
we exist at a time now with Transformers where, as you say, you've had that toy now. I mean, what, that toy will be approaching a decade, like,
It's got to be not
you know,
far off, hasn't
but
it?
yeah, it is still such a wonderful toy. And even though I just said before that I would be quite happy to see new Autobot headmasters, the Decepticon Target Masters, you don't need to touch them at all. Like, the 3 of them were fantastic. They
I think they could
really, really
reissue them.
were.
I think they could reissue them now, and I think there's enough people who missed out on them the first time around that they'd still sell. And as you say, what what
Oh,
great toys. Yeah, and those
uh,
the frustration I suppose with the Hasbro thing was they didn't release them together with their Target Master partners. Like as you say, you could get them. There
mm,
was a blowpipe you could buy that did resemble the original blowpipe, and then there was a Caliburst which I got for my Hasbro Slugslinger. Although its colours are a bit off
mm,
from what I remember as being the colours for the original toy version, at least of Caliburst. But yeah, I think
mm.
the Takara versions. If people are watching this and they think, "Oh, I wouldn't mind picking up those Target Masters," I would recommend them. Just be prepared, as Dave warned, that you might not get them cheap, but they are worth it.
No, you definitely won't. Hey, look, like you want to talk about like going deep and stuff like that. You know, you're looking at the guy who bought that Netflix War for Cybertron Megatron triple pack because it came with Peacemaker,
Yes.
just so that it could give him the crosshairs. And it's like, I don't want this toy. I don't want this Megatron. I just want the Target Master,
Yeah.
and I am prepared to pay £50 to buy that Target Master,
Exactly.
and then sell Megatron instantly.
Yeah.
You know, but
You were not alone in that, though,
yeah,
Dave. You're not alone at all.
no. Tell us in the comments down below a particular toy that perhaps you have consternation over, whether or not you love them or you hate them. And also tell us a toy that you're super fond of at the minute. Tell us your favorite Decepticon Target Master in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it, because if it is Misfire, then you are correct. But then again, if it's any of the others, it's a hard. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All
You
good.
know. Um. Yeah, it is. It is. I would even accept Cyclonus because Nightstick is awesome.
Yeah, correct.
You know. So yeah. Right. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Talking Transformers Toys. Say goodbye, Andy,
Goodbye, everyone.
and we will catch you all next time for another episode. Bye for now.